And Australia seems to be joining Thailand in focusing on growth instead of the environment. Plans to build the country's largest coal mine are still on track, and that can mean destruction for the protected underwater treasure. Greg Navarro has this.
The Great Barrier Reef here has factored into that legal challenge. The Australian Conservation Foundation is arguing the Australian government has failed to consider the impact from burning coal, the impact on the climate, would be inconsistent with its legal obligation to protect this reef. Parts of the Great Barrier Reef may look pristine, but scientists say the reef as a whole is under threat.
This is a direct consequence of human activities, putting extra greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
That's why environmental groups are trying to stop the Australian government from approving plans to build the country's largest coal mine, spanning more than 200 square kilometres in Queensland. It would effectively turn a part of the Great Barrier Reef into one of the world's largest coal shipping ports.
Not only will that mean hundreds of extra ships going through a very fragile ecosystem, it'll mean expanding a port right in the World Heritage Area.
Scientists say the dredging involved to expand that port could add stress to the reef.
We know that sediments can and plumes can travel a long distance, and so there are concerns, environmental concerns around where that dredge spoil might go.
India's mining giant Adani has been advertising the economic benefits the multi-billion-dollar mine would bring to the region.
Adani means 10,000 jobs for Queensland workers.
But Greenpeace Australia Reef campaigner Shani is sceptical.
We've heard that the company behind this has been overstating both the job and the royalty figures that will be coming back. So we don't have a clear picture of exactly what benefit this project could bring, but we do have a really clear picture of the downsides that it will have for the Great Barrier Reef.
The Great Barrier Reef here has its own economic importance, generating about $6 billion a year in tourism and employing roughly 63,000 people. In August, a federal court overturned government approval of the mine, saying the government didn't consider the impact to two threatened species. Now the plan is back in court. The challenge this time is much broader, to include the impact all that coal will have on climate change.
When we need to be dealing with climate change, you can't be approving massive coal mines.
And to the Great Barrier Reef.
The reef system is fragile. Reefs grow within a quite specific or narrow window of environmental parameters. Where reefs get into problems is when you stress the reef when you go outside of those parameters.
Scientists say even if that mine doesn't get approval, the burning of fossil fuels poses a greater risk over time to the Great Barrier Reef here and other reef systems around the world. In fact, they say about a third of all of the CO2 we produce these days ends up in the world's oceans. Greg Navarro, CCTV, the Great Barrier Reef.